Deirdre Bolton is here to tell us how this race could shift and go back to focus on what it always focuses on, the economy.
I was just going to say, and I think, Charles, we saw this on the right with Donald Trump, on the left with Senator Sanders. Nicole just mentioned him hanging in there just in case this FBI headline isn't quite complete. But it's always been about jobs, at least in large part. If you have a job, do you feel secure in that job? If you're getting a raise, is it actually a raise that moves the needle for your family? And for a lot of Americans, it's not the case. So we're just taking a look at some recent economic data points. Factory orders in May declining. And of course, this Friday, the key focus, jobs data. And you remember that last report, we were so surprised. I mean, it was a huge miss as to the number of jobs added to the U.S. economy. So I do think this is going to become the economic election or the jobs election. We've also talked about the fact that every month in this country, between 3 and 4 million jobs go unfilled because of a skills gap. So I think these talking points are going to become more and more important. I mean, listen, Donald Trump already has a large amount of support from people because they do think, especially for blue-collar jobs, that he is the candidate who must understand their challenges. And
that's the irony to a certain degree, because when you bring up skills gap, certainly when I do on social media, a lot of people play that down. You know, they're upset. They say that's not the real reason. And a lot of people, to maybe a degree, romanticize just how many factories we can really bring back in a modern era. But having said that, this jobs report I do think is interesting because 38,000, 25,000 private sector, throw in the 35,000 from Verizon, that's still an extraordinarily low number. In my mind, it's got to be over 200,000, but right now the estimate is far lower than that.
It is, and I mean, I was surprised, I'll admit it. Last month's data came in much lower, showed a much weaker underlying economy than we have either been led to believe or we have been believing. You can choose your phrase of choice there. But yeah, I actually think it's going to surprise to the downside as well.
All right, thanks a lot, Deirdre Bolton. Next up,